Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Elimination Lunch. And right out the box, we have two beautiful queens. First, just let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Visage. I am a naked Michelle Visage today because I am doing Logos That Sex show tonight. And it's a live show, and I've got to get my hair and face painted for later. So sometimes you just got to be real. So now you get no makeup, just lips visage. So there you go. Joining us right out the box because Mimi's stuck in an airport is the lovely ladies of the evening last night, Honey Mahogany and Vivienne Pinay. It's Pinay, right?
Pinay or Pinay, whatever you prefer.
And girl, you are painted down.
Oh, yeah, I just woke up like this. I rolled out of
Yeah.
bed and here we are.
See, that's the difference
That's what you.
between a true queen and a biological female. We do not roll out of bed looking like that. No. So
Hi, everyone.
how are you ladies this morning after craziness last night?
Personally, I'm exhausted. I host a weekly show where we do viewing parties of RuPaul's Drag Race. So, you know, it was a rough night.
Well,
People were
honey, where
buying
were
me
you last night?
drinks.
Were you at the cafe?
No, 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 no. I host a party at the Midnight Sun,
Midnight Sun in San
which is just down the
Francisco.
street. It's all in the same little area in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we can start. Let's start with Vivienne. I want to start with the craziness that was going on with you and Roxy. I didn't know that existed until last night, and I was like, "Ooh, Vivienne was shady, and she was not having Roxy at all." What now?
You
Was
know
that from
what?
the beginning?
Yes, I mean, let me just say first off that my problem with Roxy is not her drag at all. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's very talented. My problem with her is completely personal. And, I don't really want to talk about her since she's not here to defend herself. But I
Right.
will say I just didn't feel it with her from the get-go. There's an energy about her that I just really just didn't like. And I feel like on the show it kind of made me seem like I was really bitter about last week's challenge. Um, but that wasn't the case. Everything that I had said about Roxy was kind of throughout the season or while I was there, and it just so happened to be played last night.
Mhm.
I don't feel, look, I tell my kids this too. You can't always get along with everybody. There's just going to be some
Right.
energy that you just don't connect with, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're
Absolutely.
just vibrationally on a different plane, and you can try, but it's like this, and it's just not going to
Right.
happen. And maybe that was the case. Um, we're
Yeah,
seeing a different side of, like, I'm seeing a different side because you guys know, all I see is what's on the main stage. And
right.
I don't get to see that side of the queens until I watch the show. And I am seeing a little bit of
Mhm.
a holier than thou attitude, let's say, on Roxy. And Roxy is fierce. That's just the attitude that Roxy has.
She is
Well,
fierce.
Go ahead, honey.
I
I
wanted to say I wanted to say that Vivian to me never was bitter or didn't harbor any sort of vendetta against Roxy. But I will say that you guys didn't get to see this on the show, but there was a point during Untucked where a lot of the girls fessed up to feeling the same way about Roxy. And
Really?
I say that with utmost respect to her because I think she's a brilliant drag queen. Y'all know her hair is always right,
Hmm.
and her outfits are always, on point and all that. But on set, for some reason, there was some sort of disconnectedness, and it came to a point in the last Untucked, and it was centered around Jade Jolie, really. And then me and Vivian and then a couple of the other girls kind of chimed in. Yes, this is how you're coming off. You're coming off with this really negative attitude, and it's turning people against you, or it's making people not like you, and you need to be aware of that. But for some reason, like she hasn't, they haven't shown that part of her on the show. And it wasn't
Right.
just that episode either. It was kind of since episode one.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean,
just,
I
it's just,
felt
and so I feel bad because Vivian, I feel like, is being like crucified for speaking her mind about this, but we all felt this way, honestly.
You know, I don't
yeah.
know if it's a crucifixion. I think that there's only so much time, and whoever kind of gets to the crux of the matter the fastest is going to get kind of that time.
I didn't necessarily mean by the show. I just meant by like the, you know how the fans get. Like they get really defensive and stuff. And so she, I feel like, is being, turned into kind of, the anti-Roxy or whatever by the fans,
Mm.
not necessarily
Right.
even the
Who,
show. And
Vivian
so I feel bad for,
or
yeah, I just
Jade?
feel bad for her. No, Vivian.
Huh. I don't think I didn't feel that at all. I just felt that last night the tensions were just there and Vivian was done. But I mean, I think we've all been there. And Roxy is the type of person I'm seeing that is very, it's the whole Rolaska talks, da, 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 in your face, eat it. She's that type of personality,
Hmm.
which,
Yeah.
is a lot to handle. But since I'm that personality and always have been, I understand, it took me to, I'm older now. And I had to go through a lot
Yeah.
of friends and a lot of situations to learn that maybe that doesn't always work. And Roxy is still very young. But
Yeah.
Roxy is a fierce, fierce
She
queen,
is.
as you all are.
Can I say it wasn't so much her confidence because I love that, you know. It was just the energy of like she was closed off. It's like she didn't want to make a connection with anyone. And I felt like I had a connection with everyone, even Penny, who left first. I had some sort of connection. And that's part of something that I'm very good at. I can make a connection with anyone as long as they are willing, you know. But it wasn't even on the show. Even after the show at the premieres, whenever I saw her, it was just really, really weird. And I've heard it from other
Really.
girls from other seasons, fans that have met her. But you know, like I said, I don't want it to turn into like we're talking about Roxy because she's not here to talk for herself.
No, no,
But
for sure.
that's
No,
just how I
nobody's,
felt.
baby, nobody's talking shade. This is how you feel. Everybody knows that I
Yeah,
love Roxy. I love all the queens. But
yeah.
I mean, you're just as fierce in your way, Vivian. Now, honey, I want to
Well,
ask
thank you. I
you
appreciate
because
you.
you're amazing.
This lighting situation.
Honey, are you a therapist, social worker, or something in real life?
I'm a social worker. Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
So how does, I mean, I've been very vocal about this whole Heather's Alaska Talks thing, and not to rehash it too much, but this is the first time you're joining us. I'm vocal against it. I'm not a fan of cliques. I have kids. I've been the last one picked. I had cliques against me all through my school until high school, where I didn't give a shit anymore and became really who I was for me. How did you feel in that room, being on the opposite end of that Alaska Talks thing? Did that bother you?
Well, the Alaska Talks thing just seemed to me really unnecessary. It definitely created an other group, right? Because there was the in group and then everyone else was the out group, and it became kind of evident. And it was like that thing where they really were, and I don't think that they were mean girls because they weren't. I love those girls, they really do, and
Agreed. Agreed.
individually they're amazing. But it was that thing where it was those three, and they would every day as we'd get prepared to work to get into the workroom, they would push themselves to the front of the group so that they were the first people out. And it was kind of like this, like, this thing where they had to be first, and there were Relaska talks. And so we all had to kind of take a back seat because, we're all on in there on our own pretty much. And then there's this kind of triumvirate that is, basically dividing and conquering everyone else.
Mr. Alex just said, "Oh, honey, you always sound so bitter." I'm going to disagree and defend Honey here. Honey is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. So, whatever
I
you're
agree.
reading, baby, you're reading wrong. Honey is pure honey. And that's where that name comes from. And I've met her as boy honey, and as honey on the main stage with the caftans of many colors. Uh, I don't think she's bitter. I think she understands it because she's an educated woman. She understands it from a different point of view, guys. And because she speaks differently does not make her bitter. She just comes from a data point of view, whereas we are on the other side. So I'm going to defend Honey here, and I wouldn't say that
Thank
she's
you.
bitter. Yeah, it's true. Let's talk about your caftans for a minute, Honey Mahogany.
Yes. Let's talk about caftans. That's gonna be my next single, caftans.
Well, I mean, you and I, we got into it. Y'all don't get to see it. We
I
got into
know.
it for probably a good 15 minutes about the caftanery on stage.
Well, no, you read me, and you know it was fine, and I feel like I was open to what you were saying, right? I mean, you were telling me, well, I think your words were, "Honey Mahogany, you're gorgeous, but what's with you and your caftans?"
But it
Right? You
was
said
true
something like
because,
that.
and look,
It was
one,
so true.
one, I love that mauve one that I think Santino read as a quilt, but I kind of loved that one.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
just,
know. Yeah, I remember that.
it was continuous and it was like, you've got a body under there and you're so, so beautiful. So beautiful that it
Mhm.
became the same thing every week.
You, and I totally agree, and I don't disagree at all. And it was on me to show you guys that. The one thing I will say is I wish that I had gotten that feedback at some point so that I could have changed it up on the runway. That's all I can say. Because, you know, sometimes when you're in the game, it's hard to have perspective on the situation. And that's why I think it's really great when you have the opportunity to hear from the judges so that they can give you perspective as to what they're seeing, and then you
Right.
can grow from that. I think that's one thing that I pride myself on, is being open to critique and also being a quick learner and a quick study. Unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to show you that I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And sometimes, like me being a judge, I don't know that you're going to come out in, a different caftan. Like when it came 3 times in a row, that's why I was like, okay, enough, right? Once is fine. Sometimes maybe twice. And that's why even I challenged Jinx on, all right, let's stop with the costumey, crazy stuff now. Now give me some glamour. Until it starts getting repetitive, you don't know it's repetitive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and until someone tells you that, I don't know. I guess in my brain, I wasn't thinking about what did I wear last week as much, because I was taking it challenge by challenge. Like I said on the runway, and they don't get to see this. Had I known that the third challenge was going to be to wear pink, I wouldn't have worn the pink caftan the week before, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
I just wasn't thinking in that way. And what I had also told you on the runway was, if that's what you want, next week I'll come out naked. And but I obviously wasn't able to come next week, so.
Well, you can come for me naked anytime you'd like.
All right, it's a date.
Good. All right, Vivienne, let's ask you. Michelle here says,
Yeah.
never in the history of RuPaul's Drag Race has there been a double elimination. Double penetration, maybe, not elimination. So, exactly. So, what was going through your mind when that happened?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. Starting out with 14 girls this season, I kind of thought there was going to be one eventually. I just didn't think it was going to be me. So whenever it all came down to it, originally I thought Honey was staying because I'm so used to Rue, and she doesn't do it all the time, but I'm so used to her saying the first person first who's, staying. But then she turned to me and said that we were both going, and I'm like, so this
Yeah,
is
and
the
you
double
said,
elimination.
that's what you said. You went like this. Yeah, of course it is. Like you, I guess, did you feel the energy being as low as it was, ladies? Please, please tell me you did.
Well, here's the thing. Um to be honest, I feel like that song, and maybe this is an excuse, is such a low energy song. I mean, for me, I felt, maybe I'm not a Britney Spears fan, maybe that's what it is, and I have to cop to that. But also the challenge for me was I was in that caftan, and although it was a big voluminous garment, the bottom of it was kind of like a pencil skirt, and I couldn't really dance around and move a lot. I mean, we were supposed to be in Diva Glam. I was in an evening gown. So the only thing I could think to do was do it as much as I possibly could through my face and arms and like attitude, because I really couldn't dance. So that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't
think
know if
about
that's just making excuses.
penetration having to lip sync and Serena Cha Cha to Party in the
I
USA.
know.
I mean, look, sometimes we get songs that we wouldn't choose ourselves. Lord
Yeah.
knows Willem and Jiggly wouldn't have chosen Mi Vida Loca. I mean, there's a million, circumstances we can refer back to, but really, it was Britney, bitch. You don't have to like
No, I
her.
agree.
And the
No, no,
song
no.
is slow. It was just like, ugh. You know what I mean?
It was
Well,
a slow song,
Yes.
can I
and
And it
say,
was,
yeah.
and
The
it's
only
an
thing,
exhausting day. I get it.
yes, yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
very
And but
exhausting.
the main thing for me was the costume. It was just I couldn't really move him around as much as I would have liked to be honest. So I just
Okay.
did the best as I could in the garment that I was wearing.
Now,
Well,
Vivienne,
I would.
I want to ask you wait, go ahead, say what you want, and then I want to ask you a question.
Well, I would have to say that yes, we were both exhausted. I think tension was very high that day. Um, and also, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not a performer like Shangela. I'm all about just serving face and beauty. That's my thing. And I'm not saying that should have been enough, but I'm not going to
Okay.
make an excuse either. You know
Okay,
what I
good.
mean? So
Good.
that's just me. That's Vivienne.
I understand serving. Look, I walked face in many a ball, and I understand what it's like to just, go about it and doing your face thing. But I mean, come on. This is a lip sync
No,
for your mother tucking life, kid.
yes, I agree. I agree. Hey, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not arguing
Okay.
with you.
Okay, good. Okay, now what do you feel, Vivienne, about being compared to legendary drag queen Jujubee? How do you feel about that?
Um, it's a complete honor. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of Jujubee, and I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little old, but it's still such an honor and such a huge compliment. Because, like I said, I am a huge fan. But I feel like I've been compared to every single Asian queen on the show. So at a certain point, I'm like, damn, can I just be Vivian for a minute? I've even been compared to Jiggly, Fifi, and it's like, damn, okay, I'm Vivian. Can I just be Vivian for a minute?
Well, look, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, to me, Jujubee is one of the fiercest queens I've ever seen. So when I started getting
Hands
compared to
down.
Madonna very early on, look, it's Madonna, but the point is, does it get tiring? Yeah, you try to do things, you change your look, you do. The bottom line is, it's completely an honor. So you just have to take it and own it because for me, God, Juju is one of the fiercest queens I've ever seen in my entire life. So for me, it would
I
be,
absolutely agree.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I would take it and own it. Um, let's see. Andrew says it seems like Jade Jolie is getting the raw deal from the girls. What is your opinions on the shade of Jade Jolie? Start with Honey.
I did not find her to be that shady, but I did say, as you saw on Untucked, that she was a pot stirrer because she really was. I mean, she would kind of go around to all of us and tell us what happened in the other room, and it just seemed like she was trying to get us riled up. And I noticed that she was kind of doing that with each one of the girls. Now, in regards to what she says in interviews about all the other girls, I'm not going to hold it against her because look at what everyone else is saying. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a hypocritical thing to say for us that, oh, well, she was reading people. Well, everyone was reading people. And if they weren't reading people, they were being edited to look like they read people. So,
And Vivian, what about you? Do you think Jade is getting the raw end of the deal?
Um, all I can say is based on what my experience has been with Jade. I've never experienced Jade being nasty or being a shit stirrer or gossiping too much. I was really close to Jade, um, so I never really experienced that from her. I know she's getting a little frustrated.
Kiki just said that Jade looks like the Chucky doll out of drag. That's so wrong.
That is wrong. I think she's
Oh
beautiful
my
and
god. Oh my
Anna.
god. She's such a girl. I mean, Jade is a girl. Like
she's
I
a
look, she
Yes,
is
lady.
okay down.
completely.
Sorry, Vivian. Carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt. It just made me
No,
laugh.
it's okay. I think Jade is such a good person inside and out, and maybe tension was a little high for her, and
Hmm.
people were getting on her nerves. But I wouldn't say she's a bad person or like the shit
No.
stir of the season. So
You don't? You don't think so?
as of right now, I don't think so because I've never experienced it.
All right. So Vivian, Cisco wants to know what's next in line for you. now that the show's over? Well, your show.
Well, my goal in doing drag has always been art for me. It's never been uh, me going out and performing all the time in the clubs. My first experience with drag was seeing RuPaul on TV whenever I was really small. So that
Okay,
is
you have to
my
throw
she's
that in whenever I was really small, bitch. Uh-huh.
No, she was she still is my number one inspiration, and I do want to continue to do more television and print work too. I want to try to keep keep the legacy going and keep drag a little more going mainstream because I feel like that's my job, to bring it outside of the nightclubs and into more television and movies and print work, and that's what I want to do.
Vivian, what city are you from, baby?
Well, I'm originally Southern girl. I'm originally from
Okay.
Georgia, and then I moved to New York. I lived there for 4 years, which is where I lived during the filming, and now I'm in LA.
Oh, you're here now.
I'm
Yay.
here, and I love
Oh,
it. That's why
fantastic.
I'm
And I do,
blonde.
yeah, of course, of course. Honey, I do want to say that you had a lot kind of resting on your shoulders being the first queen chosen and it's season 5, our first San Francisco
I
queen chosen.
know.
So
Yeah.
that's heavy, but at the same time, I think you were a great representative because San
Thank
Francisco
you.
drag, and I think you said it in Untucked last night, was very interesting. San Francisco drag isn't really about the glamour and the look, is it?
Okay, can I just need to clarify this because I am being attacked by people in San Francisco saying, "How dare you say that about our drag?" And what I actually said, the full sentence was, "The look is not as important as the performance. The performance is the more important part." It was a complete sentence, and it was taken only they only took the part where I said the look is not important. But that isn't what I was talking about.
But I agree with you. Knowing San Francisco Queens, I agree with you. They are so performance based and so artistic, and it's so important to have a
Exactly.
full package for a San Francisco Queen. I understand what you were saying, and it was taken out of context. But San Francisco, the way they do Queens, is different. But the thing is,
It is.
but it's different everywhere regionally. In the South, and
Yes,
Vivian,
yes.
from being from the South, you could attest to this. The South is a lot of pageant and beauty and glamour, and you're going for kind of that real pageant, over the top look. And New
Yeah.
York is kind of, it's like San Francisco in many ways. Although they have their look, they do a show, but they go for way over the top. It's everybody's got their region. So I think you're fair in saying what you said, and sometimes yes, editing does have a play in it.
You
I do
know,
want to
that just
go ahead.
the part that kind of sucks about that is like I feel, it's my hometown, and then now with the way things turned out, I just feel like I hurt people because they were really, they were rooting for me, and they were, even after I got eliminated, they were like, "We still love you," and then they kind of show that, and it's like, "Oh wait, do we love you because you just read us to filth?" And that's not what I did, but that's how it looks on TV. And so I don't know. That was really unfortunate for me. I felt you're laughing at me.
I'm
I'm just
laughing
kidding.
because it does look like that. It does
It does,
absolutely look
right?
like that. But there's so much
So
more to
wrong.
it. But I mean, we've got an hour, and it's like we have to kind of
Hmm.
synopsize what's going on, and let's make it
They
make
couldn't let me
sense.
finish my sentence though.
Oh, they could, but it worked better the way it was. Yes, girl. And honey, your story. I want to know a little bit more about your story with your parents sending you to Africa. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Well, when I first came out, they kind of like freaked out. It was very hard for them. I mean, it was a very traumatic experience for my family. My family basically asked me to move back and just trying to take some time for myself. And I did it for them. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to change me. I knew I was going to be the same person regardless. But when your mom asks you to do something, it's kind of like, how can you say no? You know what I mean? I mean, that's my mom. So,
Where in
so
Africa?
I went to Ethiopia for 3 months and lived with my family. And while I was there, here's the thing. I think when you get handed lemons, you make lemonade out of it, right? I mean, and that's a lesson that all of us that have been eliminated are learning. But you know, when I was there, like I got an amazing opportunity to rethink my life, and I decided I wanted to be a social worker. That's when that happened because I was, you know, in Africa. I was surrounded by all these things. I decided I wanted to be a social worker. I knocked on every single nonprofit that I could to find an internship, and I actually got an internship at the UN. I got an internship at the UN in Ethiopia and worked at
Wow.
UN AIDS, um, doing
You better
research
work,
on, you know,
Kofi Annan.
so I got to do research on like what was going on in the region in terms of the spread of HIV. And so even though it was this horrific like experience, at the same time it was life changing and amazing, and you know, you never know where life and God or, you know, the universe is going to take you. Obviously, I never thought I'd be on Drag Race, but I was.
Yeah, you were, and you did a fantastic job. You know, it's a journey, and that's the way it kind of goes. So we have to roll with it as it goes. That's it.
Mhm.
So girls, we'll ask you separately. We'll start with Vivienne. Now that you and Cisco wants to know, now that you've off the competition, who would you pick to win? Vivienne, you go first.
Oh gosh, that's a really hard one. There's so
No,
much
it's not.
talent. It
Blah
is though.
blah.
There's so much. There is so much talent this season. I would say Jinx or Alyssa.
Okay, and Honey?
Um, honestly, I love all the girls, but my top two to win, and maybe it's because I'm from San Francisco and I like that. I would love to see either Detox or Jinx Monsoon take the crown.
Yeah, a
Those
lot
are
of
my.
people are asking me here why I'm so tough on Jinx, and you girls could back me up on what I'm seeing here. But what I'm seeing is a really talented queen who needs to maybe expand or show us something else, because I know that Jinx has got a lot of shit inside there that I really need to see. That's
Yeah.
why I'm being so tough on Jinx, because I feel like it's kind of okay. We're doing this again.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
it's a
well, you know, Michelle,
costume, and
I, I feel like your reads are always it's constructive criticism. Like even with me with the caftans, whatever, like you do it out of love, and it's evident to us, at least on the runway, I think. I don't know sometimes if in the show or on TV, editing, whatever, it comes off as kind of like you're coming for us, but it never felt that way on the show. And
yeah,
I agree
of
with you.
course it's TV.
Right. And but I agree with you. I think that you know, Jinx is a little crazy. But that's who she is. You know what I'm saying? Like she's this
Absolutely,
goofball,
and
this
that has to
personality.
stay.
I
That
Yeah.
know.
has to stay.
I
Yes.
I remember
That's
when we
not.
first all met Jinx, we were all like, she is off her rocker. And we
Girl,
underestimated her though.
we did because there were times where
All
we
of
were in the
us.
workroom and she's off in the corner doing headstands, dancing around to
Yes.
herself, singing to herself, and all of us girls are on the side looking at each other like, is this
Yes.
happening?
Well,
Where are the
she
cameras?
probably has
Why?
to. She has to stay awake.
For the narcolepsy.
True. True. She's very, very
She
talented
does.
though, and I would love to see
But
her
she's
go all the
amazing.
way.
Yeah, yeah. But I have to say, this season is filled with a lot of amazing queens. So I mean, it's not like
Absolutely.
there's a lot of amazing talent on this season. It's pretty unbelievable. I want to
I
talk about
agree.
Alyssa's her faces in the mirror. I didn't know this until last
Oh,
night, that she goes all Sunset
Girl.
Boulevard all the time in the mirror. Did it drive you guys crazy?
no, I
Well,
loved it. I love every single minute of it. I was I was actually right beside her while we were doing her makeup, and I got used to it. I live for Alyssa, and I live for her face and her facial expressions. The way you see Alyssa on television is exactly how she is in real
exactly.
life, to the T.
See, that
Exactly. And
just
like,
makes me so happy.
Yeah.
she's one of those people though that whenever we would be like shooting, whenever we would pass a mirror, we would be like all far gone and she would still be in the mirror like making her faces like it was
So true.
Love
surreal and I
that.
loved her.
Love it. Love the crazy. Bring the crazy to be on my team. All right.
Yeah.
So, Vivienne, Yolanda wants to know if you could do anything differently, if you did it over again, would you?
Yes, I have to admit, I don't think I was in the right headspace. I feel like I was a little too focused on the competition to where it was working against me. I was always thinking, oh, what if the judges don't like this? What if Rue doesn't like this? I just want to impress Rue. You know, I want to do this and that. And it all just kind of built up and worked against me. And I wish if I could do it over again, that I would be in the moment, still be focused on the competition, but be in the moment and kind of enjoy it too. I was so
Right,
stressed
right.
during everything. I didn't have the time to really sit there and enjoy the moment and take it all in.
Yeah, it's hard to take your head out of the game, and you don't want to take it out completely
Right.
because you need to be on your game.
Yeah.
Um, Bill wants to know, and we can get this answer from both of you, honey, who you would have done if you stayed for Snatch Game, and the same thing for you, Viv.
That is interesting because I think I would have actually done RuPaul, which is why I didn't play her in the in the ballet because I was like, I think I want to play her for the Snatch Game. Because I mean,
Girl,
people
and
kept
you gave
making
us
those comparisons to me.
crazy Diana Ross.
I know. I'm not gonna
All
argue.
right, man. God, nobody can nail that friggin' Diana Ross. That's hard to
No,
nail. She's a difficult one.
I have a theory. Anyone who does Diana Ross gets eliminated.
All right, Vivian, who would you have done?
Well, I really wanted to be somebody that you guys would not expect. And even Coco was like, "Oh, why don't you do J Lo because it's so you?" And I'm like, "No, I want to do something that's like kind of funny, something that nobody would expect." So I had planned on being, since I'm from the South and I love butter, I had planned on being Paula Deen,
Paula Deen.
That would have been amazing.
and it would have been epic. And I think I would have done a really good job.
Butter.
I
I
love
absolutely
butter.
love that. Yes, yes, I do love that. Now you guys are back there all the time. Obviously, you're in on the whole thing. The whole Alyssa Coco saga, has that played its kind of course with you? Were you caring about it, or were you like shut up about it?
I
It
didn't
just
care
seemed a
anymore.
little
I mean,
forced.
it was from the
Wait,
get-go.
right. And were you like, what
Yeah.
happened? What happened? Were you like, I don't care, I don't care.
At first, I wanted to know, but I felt like it was like they weren't talking about it, so I was just like, forget it. I don't even care anymore. It was like they wanted to
Right,
talk about it, but they didn't, and I wasn't interested anymore.
right. And what about you,
It
honey?
just, well, to me, it's crazy because I was on this reality TV show, and for me as a person, I am so not about the drama. I'm like the most mellow person that I know. And so for me, it was just all this crazy drama that was happening, and it made no sense. I was literally sitting there being like, these girls are crazy. Should not have passed their mental health check and gotten on the show, obviously, because
Right.
they're making something out of nothing. And what's really funny is that they kind of made it in the first couple episodes seem like Alyssa was coming for Coco, but it was really honestly Coco every chance she got, she would dig at Alyssa. And
Ah,
me
I
and me
really?
and Vivian was in the safe group that first time. And it was just like she would just throw all those jabs. I was shocked. I was like, where's this coming from?
she
So
was
Really?
she
That's interesting. Go
she was
ahead, Viv.
asking for drama, but she didn't want to put it all out there at the same time. It was really weird.
Yeah, but I felt like when it came to a head, it was kind of like, really? All
Wah
that for
wah.
Right?
that?
Is that it? Right.
Yeah, y'all could have worked that out. Like it didn't need to be World Drag War #2 or whatever.
Right.
You
I
know what I mean?
agree.
Like it didn't need to go there. But it was kind of but I think it all comes from a place of somebody got really hurt, and
Mhm.
hurt hurts. And I think that's
Yeah.
what it came down to. And we were kind of watching their therapy session play out, and that's what it was. But it was interesting.
Yeah.
We got some
Yeah.
cams to go to. We're going to go to some people with cameras. So
Oh,
I'll
good.
keep asking questions. And yeah, they're super fun. And
Okay.
thank you to everybody who's joining us here. We got Michelle. She's going to ask a question um, as soon as the camera
Hi.
kicks in.
Hi.
Hi, cutie
First, I
pie.
want to say, Vivian, honey, Michelle, you know I love you, but Vivienne, honey, you're both so beautiful, and I
Thank you,
absolutely
sweetheart.
adore you.
Aw,
And
thank you so much.
I wanted to know if you agree with Rue's decision to do a double elimination for the first time in Drag Race history.
Honey, you can go
Okay,
first.
thank you, Viv. I honestly, I was really shocked and actually personally insulted by the decision to do the double elimination. I mean, it's one thing if you're not going to have us lip sync, but then to have us lip sync and not choose somebody, to me, was really insulting. And that's just me being very honest. And I would have been completely happy if they had chosen Vivienne Pinay and they'd said, honey, you know what? Vivienne was better. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, her look was better, her lip sync was better, whatever. If they had picked her, I would have been totally fine. But the fact that they eliminated both of us, I felt was unnecessarily kind of a low blow. So that's how I feel about it.
Hold that thought,
Okay.
Vivienne. I'm
Okay.
going to say, to answer Honey, we were the ones who were insulted, my dear. That lip sync literally was like this. I couldn't even get it up to sing with you guys. Like, it was really, really boring. You can't bore us on that main stage. Both of you did. Not that you're not fierce. Do not take anything away from the fact that you are fierce, beautiful, brilliant, talented, all of that stuff. And I know what you've got in you. And it's not what you did on that main stage.
Okay, I did not feel that, and I did not get that from watching myself, but I trust you, and I trust your opinion, because
I
I didn't see the
promise.
whole thing.
I promise you, honey.
I know
Rue would never do that. What, Michelle?
for me watching it kind of felt like your guys' heart wasn't as much in it as previous performances. And I know that could be editing and just the way it came across on screen. But was there something that was distracting you from the challenge?
I don't think
Well,
I
The
don't
I'll,
feel
I'll
dress.
besides yeah, besides the dress, like I wasn't able to move as much. It's an excuse. I can't, but it's something I can't change.
Right.
But other than that, there wasn't really anything distracting me. I was really in it. I thought I was in it. So
Okay. Go ahead,
and
Viv.
I have to, first off, Michelle, I value your opinion. Um,
Thank
Second
you.
off, as far as the challenge goes, from day one, I said I am not a dancer. But given that I didn't do so well in the week before, I completely tackled that challenge to the best of my ability. And to be completely honest with you, I don't think I did a bad job, but I ended up in the bottom. So that's just the way it went.
Here's the
As far
thing.
as the
You didn't do a bad job. You don't suck. It's just
yeah.
that it was blah. It didn't go anywhere. You just stood there. Your lips were perfect. Both of you lip sync the hell out of it with your mouth. But that's
Well,
not
no,
enough. And
I'm
because
talking
the song is low key, well, go ahead.
I'm talking about the actual challenge, the ballet. I actually
Oh,
think Roxy should have been in the bottom because
I
she
agree.
had about three moves, a hop, skip,
I
and a
agree.
jump, and
I
she couldn't
agree.
even do that.
I agree. And
And
they
she
read
was
her.
she was wearing a leotard.
and it
Yeah,
was a bad leotard. I
I
said that.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because she got red for her looks and she didn't dance, but she didn't end up in the bottom. I got red for my look. Vivian got red for dancing. I mean, it just was like, I don't understand why Roxy wasn't in the bottom, to be honest.
Well,
And we were
look,
all on the same
because,
team.
but there's five of us, right? There's five
Right.
judges. And you don't get to see everything everybody says.
Yeah.
But because again, it's only an hour show, and an hour part is 15 minutes at best with commercials. So you don't get to see everything, but there was enough strength in the judges' critiques that that's why it ended up the way it did. Back and forth and back and forth, and that's why it ended up the way it did. And Vivienne, you did a fine job, but it looked kind of just like I said, it was kind of like a mall girl wearing a crown, and it wasn't anything. I didn't get anything Rue about it. I think the difference was Roxy at least had this going on and was giving you the complete look from here up. From
Yes,
here
you're
down, I
right,
don't know what was going on.
but it was a dancing challenge too.
Well, if we're going to take a dancing challenge and really take it as a dancing challenge, the only one that should have been on that stage was Alyssa. Friggin' Alaska was
True.
doing the Macarena. She did the Macarena, which, by the way, I loved. When Alaska came out and did I spit out my tea. It was over. I loved that moment. But, you
I
know,
love
I
Alaska.
appreciate you being honest. Thank you, Michelle, babe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I appreciate the honesty,
Thank
honey,
you.
but I want you guys to know too that it's never anything personal. And I hope you kids know that. It's not because I look at Rue and I go, I don't like this bitch. You know, her makeup's prettier than mine. It's not that way. My
See,
tea.
in
I did
my
not spit out my
mind,
teeth, Christine. I spit out my tea. Tea, not tea.
in my
I
mind,
got
like
it
I
right.
said, my mind wasn't in the right place, and I honestly thought that the judges didn't like me. So in my mind, I was like, oh my God, they don't like me. You know, what do I need to do to make them like me? And it's very intense on that main stage, you know, and the way people see the main stage is really the way it is. It's very intense.
It is intense, but Vivian, not only did we like you, we loved you. I mean, you're
Oh, well, thank you.
gorgeous. What's not to love? And not
Thank you.
only are you gorgeous, you're sweet. Like you're super, you
Oh,
both are super, super sweet. But
thank you so much.
you know, it's just and it's funny because Chanel said the same thing to me after All Stars. She said, I really didn't think you liked a thing that I did.
Yeah.
Look, we're there to judge. That's my job. And I know I tend to be the vocal one, but Santino tends to be tougher than I am in many ways, you know?
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's harsher than I am in many
Yeah.
ways. But, you know, I'm there. My goal, and as you said earlier, honey, my goal is to give you guys the tools to get to the next step. Listen and take it, try to work it, and trust me, it's to help you, not me. It's not going to
Yeah.
garner me any points. I mean, I've known Rue for 125 years. It's not going to do me any good to kiss up to him. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So what
Right.
I'm doing for you kids because I love and respect everything that you do, and I want you to get better.
Well,
Hi,
thank
sexy
you.
Jeremiah.
Hi,
Hi,
Jeremiah.
Michelle. Nice to see you again. Hi,
Where's your
Vivian.
leopard
Hi, honey.
wrap?
Hi.
I have it right here, but I have my leopard pillow too.
Oh, we
I
love
love
it. We love it.
it. Okay.
Hi.
So
So,
what's your
I want to give a
question,
shout out
baby?
to Vivian.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to shout out to Vivian first because
Oh,
I'm
hi.
Pinoy too. But my question is this. So, in the show last night, we saw kind of like your attitude, um, like towards the end, like when you're like, oh, she needs to go home and blah blah blah. But I was wondering, how come you never defended yourself when Roxy or Detox would take little stabs at you? Like the camera would go to your face and you'd make a upset face, but you never like said anything.
Um, I can honestly say that those were two different clips. Like I didn't hear Roxy say that. And that was a clip of my face probably looking to the side. I didn't hear Roxy say that. We didn't have like a banter back and forth. It was kind of like I didn't like her and I didn't want to start any drama. I was waiting for the drama to happen, but I don't start
Mm.
drama, you know?
Mm.
So we just kind of stood we kept our distance, but we had to work together at the same time. And we were paired together twice, so I still wanted the energy to be pleasant, you know?
Do you think
Right.
Roxy
Yeah, you didn't want
is
to
a
cause
shit
drama.
stir? Do you think she starts trouble?
I can't
Mm,
necessarily
Who?
say that. I just know that
Roxy.
her energy is weird, and I think she thinks she's better than people. I can't say that she goes starting shit, you know, because like I said, the same thing with Jade. I didn't really physically experience it, so.
Mm. Hmm. And honey, you don't think Roxy starts
I
any
think
trouble?
I think that sometimes she would ask questions during Untucked that were a little like pokey pokey, but I don't
Yeah.
think that she was really starting drama. Like she wasn't trying to like turn people against each other or doing all that stuff. That wasn't her style. No.
All right. Thank you, Jeremiah, baby. You're gorgeous. We
All right,
always love to see
thanks.
your beautiful face. Mwah. Matthew says, I'm going to put this on screen. Guys, how do you feel about the fans responding to us from what they see on the show? Do people not realize that editing is necessary, doesn't give the entire story? Yes, of course. But the producers choose what the most important thing is. And I usually 99.9% of the time agree with what they do because they are trying to weave a story. That's what a story producer does. So they make the
Yeah.
story. If you got everything, y'all would as much look 25 hours, you would kill yourself. It would be way too much TV and you'd be like, ah.
Yeah.
Um, I think that they do a fantastic job on this show to cover all the things. And if they look, sometimes you think that I'm constantly side-eyeing all these guest judges like they wouldn't have, like Kristen Johnston, if she saw half the things that I was doing, she would have been like, ah! It's, they take it and they put it where it needs to be. And I absolutely love it.
I agree. I think
You
that
know,
there's definitely a story to be told on television. Um,
yeah.
I do wish, though, and I have to admit, I'm not a loud and crazy queen. I'm pretty laid back, but I wish that they wouldn't have made me look so boring. And I wish they would have shown some. It's true, and I wish they would have shown some of my story though, because I really feel like I could have helped somebody that went through something that I went through, and I think all of us have a story, and it kind of deserves to be told too.
Yes, but here's the thing. Every show has a story producer, every single show.
Mhm.
Reality, not reality, they all do. It's a job, it's what they do, and everything has to make sense. If you went in and you shot 50 hours of keeping up with the Kardashians or whatever it is, you can't, you got to have somebody to keep it completely making sense and cohesive. Otherwise, it makes no sense. I didn't think you came across boring at all. I think the producers did a great job with the editing this season, Vivian. I think that you looked like you were together and not a crazy and loud queen. It did not come across to me as boring until that lip sync.
Well, I'll take that as a backhanded compliment.
It is a compliment. You guys are fierce. There's never once that I ever would sit there and go, "Oh, she's horrible. Get rid of her." You're
No,
all there for a reason.
I
You
believe
know what I
you.
mean? And no,
Yeah.
Charles is saying, well, like Fifi crazy or Serena crazy or Tammy crazy. No, people are what they are, guys. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is they take 12 hours and have to fit it into 1 hour. That's the only thing. But that's
Right.
any television show, even scripted. They shoot the script, they shoot it 5 times and they take the one that makes the most sense. I mean,
Right.
let's be honest. These
Yeah.
girls are all thrown in, they're not in their native environment. They're thrown into a workroom and they're kind of said, this is what you're doing. Go.
Right.
This is,
And some people knew each
go ahead.
other. I happen to not know anybody there, so it was just a whole new situation. Television is like, you know, whenever you're there, you think it's like maybe two cameras, maybe two people in there, but it's a big production, and you don't realize that, and it's a lot going on that you didn't think was. So you're kind of, I was kind of in like culture shock, I guess.
Well, I think a lot of people are, and you're with people in that room, like we talked about earlier, that maybe personalities don't really mesh. And it's got to be
True.
difficult because look, being
Yes.
in a girl group, it was difficult when I was in seduction. It was difficult to just be in a group with three girls.
Right.
I can't even imagine what it's like being thrown into that
With
situation.
13 drag queens.
13 drag queens who come from different areas of the country, who come
Right.
from different upbringings, have different stories. Honey, we just got a taste of Honey's story and the whole Africa journey, which is amazing. And a lot of people don't know that Honey's a social worker and the great things that Honey does. And Vivian, what do you have a day job now, or are you just strictly making a living out of drag, which is fabulous?
Well, yeah, now it's drag because I don't think I would have time to have a day job right now to devote to a day job. But I did hair for 9 years and hair and makeup. And I was kind
Mm,
of at my wit's end with dealing with clients.
mm.
And so Drag Race kind of came at the perfect time. And whenever we moved to LA, I quit my job and now it's just strictly drag. And I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you should love it because you're good at it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
thank you.
And the reason, and I can't state it enough, the reason these queens made it on this show is because they are the best of the best. Really unbelievable job.
Thank you so
And,
much, Michelle.
but it's true, and people don't understand, how hard it is when you're in that room with people that you don't know. And yeah, I know, but people that want to be on the show and in the chat room will say, yeah, I know, but you tried really hard to get on there. You wanted to be on there.
Yeah.
Stop complaining. But unless somebody's in it and they're doing it, they really don't understand
Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
how
I
hard
see
it is.
both sides because we did sign up for it, so all of the negative feedback that you get online, it's kind of like you take it with a grain of salt too. And I just don't read the blogs, but it is what we signed up to do. And we kind of all knew that it was going to happen anyway. So the best thing is just to be positive and enjoy it. I have learned
Well,
from
you
that
can't
experience.
say, go ahead, finish, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that I've learned from that experience to really just try to be in the moment, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just like ride the wave and enjoy it.
Yeah. You have to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And Caleb, what do you mean about cutting the runway short? What are you talking about? The runway wasn't cut short. The girls just had to run down the runway because there was 18 elements to this challenge.
Yeah.
It was definitely, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was like, they had to get everybody on and in their runway looks and do all these challenges. I don't know if it was, it was just different. We get
Yeah.
stuck in this kind of thing where we're used to everything being the same way. And if anything changes, we get freaked out. We still
Right.
saw everybody's look on the runway. We just didn't see them stomp
Right.
the runway. But the main
Right.
challenge was the dance challenge, guys, not just the runway
Right.
challenge. So that's why it was quick. I didn't say it wasn't quick. It definitely, they were like, bam, bam, bam. It was like a friggin' tennis match. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
So
it was shortened. We didn't get the full runway. We just walked straight down and then kind of lined up, so it wasn't the normal thing.
because there were so many elements.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, were you guys gagging over Travis and Nick the way I was? Like, if I was there, I'd be staring at Nick Lazzarini the whole time, like, oh,
I know, right?
I
know, right?
oh
Well,
my
I have a
God.
boyfriend, so I have to say that my boyfriend's the cutest boy in the world. But I actually think
Aw.
I think Travis is cuter than Nick.
It's all about taste, honey. That's what
Yes,
Rue
It
and
is
I
all
always
about
say, because
taste.
we share some of the taste in men, but usually our taste is very different. Some of them we
yes.
share, some of them we'll split. But I just want to say on the side, I've been married for 15 years to the most gorgeous man ever, but that doesn't stop my eyes from looking at a cute little boy. So sexy.
He was
I
cute. They were
absolutely
both
loved
cute.
it. Yeah.
And they were both very,
Um,
very sweet.
Yes.
Somebody also asked on here if Rue is married. I just think that's really funny that I've heard all my years of knowing him. I've had people come up and say, I heard that Rue is straight and has a wife and children, and this is all an act. And I'm like, what
Wow.
planet do you live on? Really? No straight man could ever be that fierce in drag. I am sorry. Most straight men that do drag, it's cross-dressing and it's not
It's something
hot,
completely
not
different.
hot. It is indeed. So Rue, it's gay. Don't you worry about that. And no, not married. Just very happy. So, no, Rue's not married. So I get a lot of questions that are kind of coming up here on the side, and I want to. I don't know Rue's waist size. Come on, people. That's
That's
Rue's stuff
funny.
to share, not mine. Yeah,
So,
but
I
lots of
was wondering
questions. So,
if I could talk about something, just because I'm realizing that we're running out of time. I think what I want to do moving forward, from this whole extravaganza, is
okay.
I'm working on music right now. I released a single.
Are you? Oh, yes, I've
Yeah.
heard you sing. I've seen your singing on YouTube. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So
All right, so go ahead.
so I'm like writing all my own music, and I'm working with local producers here in San Francisco. I just released a single. It's called It's Honey. It's a theme song. It's funky. It's 70s. It's fun. It's not very serious. And today I released the music video. So
Okay, so where can we see it?
Congratulations.
thank you. I tweeted it to you, Michelle. But it's on YouTube. It's on my fan page. I've posted it everywhere. It was something that I did with absolutely no budget, with just the help of my friends. And, I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. And Michelle, I want you to know that I took your critique to heart on the show. I know we didn't get to see all of it in the editing, but I think you're gonna see a little more body yaddy yaddy from Honey Mahogany if you haven't already.
Ah.
So
Look, Honey Mahogany is a hot, hot queen, and I know that you can look at the show now and see what I was talking about, right?
hmm. Oh yeah, I
You
totally
can, you can,
do.
yeah, yeah.
And
Not with,
I agreed with it when I was on the show. I was like, looking
yeah,
back, I said it to you. I said, you know what, you're right. And I had all these very similar looks. I do have more. Let me come back next week. I didn't get a chance to. That's how the cookie crumbles. But
yeah.
moving forward, I'm going to take what you said and, and use it because this is my opportunity. It's not over.
No, honey, your show has just begun.
I
This
know,
is
right?
this is where this all starts for you kids. This is the beauty of RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm going to get on the soapbox for a minute because without this, these amazing queens and these amazingly talented boys and girls wouldn't have the opportunity to show the world their craft. We wouldn't be able
Hmm.
to get the Vivienne Pinays and the Honey Mahoganies and get to hear your beautiful music and see your beautiful drag and your creations. And I have to tell you, this show is, breaking down barriers in many, many places, in many countries. And I'm so, so very grateful for it. So
Yeah,
no, baby,
I
your
am
movie is just
too.
starting.
Yeah, it's amazing. I will say the one thing that I've been most touched by is all the love I'm getting from Africa, especially, I was scared. I was scared being somebody from Africa, like and Ethiopia specifically. How are they going to feel about it? What is the reaction from the community going to be? Bibi Zahara Benet talked about getting death threats, and Vivian, you're Filipino, so you also have that other culture that is maybe a little more conservative. But the response for me, like I'm getting emails from people from South Africa, people from Ethiopia, all over the world, like telling me like how seeing me on the show has, really affected them. And, if even only for that, I would do it all over again because, I think it's a blessing to be in this position for sure.
Honey, the
Absolutely.
Filipinos love the drag.
Oh
They
my
love
gosh,
the
they love it. Are you
trans.
kidding me? They
They love the
live.
drag. Yeah.
So
And
much
there
love and
is
support
nothing
from the
like,
Philippines.
of course, I mean, we get a lot of love and support from the
So much, and
Philippines. But
I'm so grateful for it.
Well, it's
yeah,
funny because
it's always been that way.
I grew up around a lot of Filipinos, like in the Bay Area. I went to Catholic
Sure. Oh,
school.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I know Filipino culture, but there's also, it's very Catholic, right? There's a lot of
Yeah,
religion there.
yeah,
So
Yes, a
it's
lot.
not all just like, oh, we love drag queens. I mean, there's also this other kind of religious
absolutely.
thing going on.
Yeah.
Bella wants you guys, she's 3 years old. She's a huge fan of the show. She wants you guys to say
Oh,
hi to her.
Hi,
hi
Bella.
Bella. Mwah.
And like so cute. I have two daughters, and my little one loves the show, and my big one's like, "Can you just tell me who's in the final three? Like, I'm gonna watch." And I'm like, "Thanks,
She wants to
thanks for
know.
the support."
Cut to
Can
the
you
chase.
imagine? But I know. I'm like, no. What about the journey? She's like, yeah, no. I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch Soul Eater, and she likes her anime. I love it.
Oh
But
yeah.
you kids have been so fantastic, and I love seeing you out and about, and when I see things. And honey, I'm gonna look for that tweet and retweet it. Otherwise, just retweet it to me
I'll
because
tweet it to you again.
absolutely,
100
yes, baby. I
times.
want to get the word out there. I want to get it out there. We want
Thank you,
everybody to
love.
know.
And I'm gonna
Jeffrey wants to
continue.
know who. Go ahead, Viv.
I was just about to say I'm gonna continue to produce sick ass photos and put them out so you can retweet those too. And I'm trying
Yes.
to be in Playboy, so I guess we'll see.
Are you what?
She wants to be a Panay mate.
Yes.
I love it. Yes, that's fantastic. People asking right here, who my pick is to win. First of all, I'd never say that because
You're a
I'm
judge.
still watching the show. Well, not only being a judge, if I wasn't even a part of it that way, I'm still watching the show. It's kind of hard. You start to pick your kind of favorites, but you don't. I watch the show with you. Second of all, yeah, I like my job, and I would never tell you. So it's going to be a journey this season. I think they're all a journey. They're all really fun. Every season I try harder and harder for me to be the winner, but I just don't seem to win. But I'm going to keep trying and trying. And a
You're
lot of people are
always
saying,
the
well,
winner
why?
though.
Thank you, Viv. And they say,
Always.
why am I so demure this season? I'm not demure. It's like the Queens. You want to switch it up. All Stars was All Stars, so I went All Star drag. This is
Hmm.
another season. You know, the boobs are always there. There they are.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you don't have to show it all. You know, it's different flavors, different colors of the rainbow.
You gotta
So
tease them for next
um,
season, right?
absolutely, it's always that way. And you guys are just unbelievable. And our show wouldn't be our show without you all. And these amazing queens
Oh,
love you. And you know, there was a little bit like Jiggly's on here, and she was freaking out at some of the negative stuff. But here's the thing, with positive comes negative. There's always more positive, and Honey and Vivienne, remember that. There's always more positive than there is negative. There's a
absolutely.
safety about hiding behind a computer screen.
Yes.
People that are so bitter and evil and mean, just mean. I'm not saying have an opinion that differs from yours, that's allowed. But
Right.
people that are downright mean and try to hurt you have so much
Absolutely.
horrible things going on in their own lives.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they know how to respond. So you
Right.
just kind of have to look at it and say, all right, it is what it is, and not take it personally. Those, I will not even go on a RuPaul's Drag Race Facebook page to read comments. Like I'll post
Oh, I
something,
don't
I'll look at
either.
something, I like it, and girl, I jump off because they
Yes.
will come for me. You think I don't know what my issues are? Do you think I am not aware of what my issues are? Or
Right.
any of these queens? Everybody knows, as human beings, they know what their physical issues are, whatever they may be.
Right.
But I choose to work on myself and choose the positive. So all the kids out there,
Absolutely.
that negative stuff's always going to be there, never going to go away.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you need to let it affect your
Yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
Well,
Look at
thank you
these
for
two
those
beautiful
words, Michelle.
queens.
Oh,
Thank
You
thank
guys
you.
are
you.
amazing, continuously an inspiration to so many people, and I'm including myself in that group. And I thank
Oh,
you for the work that you do for our community, and just keep the light shining. And I can't wait to see you here in LA, Viv, and I can't wait to come back to San Francisco and play with you, honey.
yes.
I'll see you
You're
soon.
just amazing, amazing queens. And next time we see each other, we'll lip sync Oops, I Did It Again together.
Never again, Michelle.
Thank you
Never
for
again.
everything, Michelle.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you. I'm going to be on that sex show live tonight, so make sure you watch that at
Oh,
11 p.m. East. Yeah, you can ask me anything. You know, I'm not one to hold my tongue.
ooh.
And I'll be on there, so I expect to for you all to join us, and we'll see you next week here with the Eliminated Queen or Queens. You never know with Miss RuPaul. And thank you all for loving our show. So you have a wonderful day, Viv. I hope you're going somewhere with that paint because you are beat the house down.
I am. I'm going grocery shopping, girl.
Girl, you need to hit Trader Joe's in West Hollywood looking like that.
Yeah.
You're right. Beverly Hills. What are you talking about, West Hollywood?
Well,
Yes.
West Hollywood, she'll take lots of pictures. Beverly Hills, she'll just get looks. Who needs
That's true.
looks? Well,
And
we like looks.
They all
yes.
watch the show. You know they all watch the show. They're going to be taking pictures there too.
True that. Well, have a wonderful day, kids. Love you so much for joining us.
Thank
And
you, you too.
Twitter
Thank you for
at Honey
having us.
Mahogany. And is it Twitter at Vivienne Pinay?
Vivienne Pinay,
Vinivian.
yeah.
What the hell language? I just did an eloquent right there. Vinivian.
So
You're so
eloquent.
eloquent,
Vivian.
girl.
Love you, kids.
Mwah.
Bye.
Love